Vishwanath made his test debut in the 1969-70 series against Australia at, at Kanpur in the second test of the series. Vishwanath was born on February 12, 1949 in Bhadravati in Karnataka, and he had a fine first-class debut making 230 against Andhra Pradesh in 768 Ranji Trophy. He had a very good test debut. After a duck in the first innings, he scored 137 in the second innings, becoming another player to make a century on test debut. Incidentally, later on he became the first batsman to score a second test century after 100 in his maiden test match. He ended a very good series with two half centuries and unbeaten innings of 44 not out in an important victory in the third test against the Australians, which India won, making 44 not out to Wadekar's 91 not out. And he ended the series with two more half centuries. Then India toured the West Indies in 69, 70, 71. Vishwanath did not play in the first two test matches. He came back for the third test, had a decent series, and in fact, after making his comeback in the third test, he played another 87 successive test match till his last test match against Pakistan in the 1982-83 series, never being dropped from the Indian team. However, he never played for India after being dropped from the Pakistan series, after the Pakistan series in 82-83. Then he had a recent series in England over in 1970, 71, including a half century in the second test and a slow match winning 33 at the Oval in the third test, when he occupied the crease for a long time to help India score a victory. Then India won the series, and then he had a decent series with Australia, England in 72-73. However, he was on the brink of being dropped after poor returns in the first three tests before he made 75 not out in the fourth test at Kanpur to save his test place. And then in that final test in Mumbai, made 113, becoming the first player to score a second test century after making a century on test debut. Then he was a part of the 74 disastrous tour of England. He had two half centuries and made one second in the batting averages to Gavaskar. He was part of the 42 all out in the second test at Lord's. Then the West Indies series, after India lost the first two test matches heavily to the visitors, making 5 successive test losses. India came back to win the next two test matches, and Vishwanath being the hero of both of these victories. He made 52 and 139 at Calcutta, and 97 not out and 46 at Madras, as India squared the test series, and Vishwanath, along with the two spinners, were the heroes. So they lost the fifth test at Mumbai, where Vishwanath made 95 again, enjoying a very good series with over 500 runs. Then India's next series, India going to New Zealand. Vishwanath had a decent series with two very good innings at Christchurch, more 70 plus scores, and the match ended in India lost the third test. The match ended series ended 1-1, and then they went to the West Indies in 75-76. Vishwanath had a good series, including a 112 in the third test at Port of Spain, where India's coach chased record 412 to win by 6 wickets. Gavaskar also making 102. India lost the series 2-1, and then at home series, they had a good series against New Zealand, making 103 not out in the second test at Kanpur, and 87 in the third test at Chennai. However, the following England series, Vishwanath had a very poor run with nothing much to speak about. He did hit innings of innings of 79 in the fourth test at Bangalore, which India won after three successive losses. India lost the series 3-1. Vishwanath had, of course, did not do much better in Bombay. So only 79 being the grace of the series. And then India went to Australia in 77, 78. Again, they lost 3-2 to the series against the new Australian team. Vishwanath made half century in the last three tests, topping the batting average with 473 runs. With half centuries in the third two tests, half century in Melbourne in the third test, one in Sydney in the fourth test, and two more at Adelaide in the fifth test. So he did not make a century. Then India went to Pakistan in the 78 series. Vishwanath became the first batsman to score 100 runs in five countries with 145 in the first test at Pakistan at Faisalabad in a high-scoring draw. He made 83 in the second test at Lahore, but his returns after that against Pakistan were very, very disappointing. He could make only 0 and 1 in the third test at Karachi, where Pakistan won by 8 wickets to win that series 2-0. Then at home he had a very good series against the second-run West Indies team, with the highlights being his 124 in the fourth test at Chennai, which India won narrow match by 3 wickets. Vishwanath being the hero with 124 out of 255 and 31 out of a score of 126 in a match which Gavaskar made 4 and 1 and Venkateswarlu got a pair on a fast pace attack suitable more to the West Indies fast bowlers. Vishwanath made a remarkable success. His record of scoring runs in tough conditions continued. Then India went to England, and Vishwanath again had a good series. Highlight being the second test at Lord's, we and Dilip Venkateswarlu had a record partnership with both making centuries to save the test after India had been bowled out for 96 and having lost the first test by innings. India lost series 1-0. Then at home he had a very good series against Australia. Then, however, his return against Pakistan, he was not able to do very well again. He is continuing to do good with only one half centuries. He averaged in the 20s, so India won the test series 2-0. Then, after Gavaskar resigned as captain, he was the captain for the final test against Pakistan at Calcutta, and then Golden Jubilee test against England. He was famous for recalling the England batsman Bob Taylor after he was given out, showing a sporting spirit. India lost the match, and Vishwanath's captaincy recorded with one victory and one draw in his two test matches. He never returned as captain. India went to Australia under Gavaskar's captaincy again 80-81. Vishwanath didn't do much in the first two test matches, but once again in the final test at Melbourne with the series on the line, he made 114 out of 237 runs scored by India in the first innings. India managed to win the match by 43 runs after bowling the Australians out for just 83 runs, and Vishwanath continued a remarkable record of scoring 100 and India not losing the match. His returns in the series was the average. He was obviously expected. His 100 saved all his shortcomings. However, he had a very poor series in New Zealand. The country again he did not do too well. He had only 46 runs, 64 runs in his 5 innings in the series. Then at home against England in the 80-81 series, 81-82 series, he was again on the brink of being dropped, but he made 107 at Delhi to save his test place, and then scored his first and only double century at Chennai 222, and he and Yashpal Sharma batted through a day without losing their wicket for another record. He ended the series with a blaze of glory, and then he went to England in 82. He failed in the first test at Lord's, but scored 3 successive half centuries as India lost the series 1-0. Then after one of test drawn test against Sri Lanka, Vishwanath went to Pakistan in the most difficult part of his amazing test career, which was about to end. Imran Khan at his best was very fiery as best, and the old ball swinging more than the new ball. The middle order found it very difficult. Mohinder Ramanathan made a sensational comeback, but the other Indian batsmen, including Venkasarkar, Sandeep Patil, were all found wanting. Only Gavaskar, apart from Amanath, made runs in the series. India managed to draw the first test, but Vishwanath was finding it very difficult to handle Imran's reverse spin. The second test, he was bowled by a ball which left him for a duck and did not do much better in the next of the series. He had a top score of 53 and made only 10 in the final test match. And his problems were there separately, like other Indian batsmen also struggled, but Vishwanath was now 34 and not exactly getting younger. The characters dropped him from the series. Imran Khan had taken 40 wickets and Vishwanath made a mere 134 runs in the series. So he dropped from the Indian team for them. Important point of Vishwanath's record was that he hit 14 test centuries, many of them very, very crucial innings, at least in the early stage, mid stage of his career. One test, very, very crucial test matches, especially against the West Indies, important 100 in Australia, and all that. Averaged for about 41 innings test match, first career. Also played a very important role for Karnataka, the Ranji Trophy, being a main player in many of his series. Hats off to the wonderful player. I had written a book on him, Vishwanath, which is available on Amazon Kindle, covering his very exciting career. Vishwanath was famous for his square cut, his gentleman behavior, and his very, very good sporting. Hats off to the man.